We're just 2 months away from Apple revealing their iPhone 17 lineup, so here's all the new features we can expect to see based on the latest rumors and leaks. Starting with the base iPhone 17. It'll likely have the same appearance as the current iPhone 16, except for its display and color options. Instead of 6.1 inches, its screen will be slightly larger at 6.3. This will be achieved by making the device about 2 millimeters taller while shrinking its borders by 45% from 2.2 millimeters to 1.2. The 17 will use the same LTPO panel as the previous Pro models, which will bring ProMotion to the entry model iPhones for the first time, delivering a 120Hz refresh rate for smoother scrolling and system animations compared to the 60Hz that we've been stuck with for several years. Now, because ProMotion features a variable refresh rate as low as 1 Hz, it'll also likely allow for always-on functionality, letting users see the content of their lock screens without having to wake the display. The dynamic island is rumored to be about 25% smaller thanks to a new meta-lens system that combines the Face ID receiver and transmitter, allowing the components to share one aperture instead of two. Apple's working on an improved A19 chip, but it'll likely not be used in this base model. Instead, it's expected to use the same A18 chip as the iPhone 16 today. A custom Wi-Fi chip designed by Apple could deliver better power efficiency and more reliable wireless connectivity, similar to what we saw with their custom cellular modem called C1. It was introduced with the 16E and is also expected to be included in all iPhone 17 models, improving the modem's power efficiency by 17 to 24%. This base 17 model will be stuck with the same 8GB of RAM as the 16. And while the rear camera system will likely remain unchanged, the front camera will see a big upgrade to 24 megapixels instead of 12, allowing it to capture higher resolution photos. The iPhone 17 is rumored to come in black, white, light blue, light green, and light purple. Its starting price is expected to be the same as the 16 at $799. In this year's lineup, Apple will not include an iPhone 17 Plus, since the previous models haven't sold well. Just look at the top-selling smartphones of the past couple years. The only flagship iPhone that hasn't made the list is the Plus. So instead, Apple's replacing it with something they think will be more desirable, the iPhone 17 Air. Instead of just having a larger display, like the previous 16 Plus, the 17 Air will feature a super thin design, similar to the Galaxy S25 Edge 5 months ago. At 5.5 millimeters, it'll set the record for the thinnest iPhone ever, a title previously held by the iPhone 6 in 2014, which was 6.9 millimeters. That means the 17 Air will not only be 30% thinner than the 16 Plus and 33% thinner than the 16 Pro, but also 20% thinner than the iPhone 6, and even 5% thinner than the S25 Edge. It's also expected to weigh 145 grams, which would be 25% lighter than the 16 Plus, 36% lighter than the 16 Pro Max, and 11% lighter than the S25 Edge. But achieving this required some compromises, like removing the bottom speaker. That means audio will only play through the earpiece, so the 17 Air won't have stereo sound, and speaker volume will likely be much quieter than other models. Apple also removed the ultra-wide camera lens, which has been on every flagship model since 2019 with the iPhone 11. Instead, the 17 Air will have just one rear camera lens with 48 megapixels, capable of a cropped 12 megapixel 2x optical zoom, just like on the 16E. And it'll be housed in this large horizontal camera bump that's never been seen on an iPhone before. And its purpose is uncertain, although it would provide more internal space to fit components, which is especially important in a device this thin. The good news is that its front-facing camera will be upgraded to 24 megapixels instead of 12, and it'll have 12 gigabytes of RAM instead of 8. The 17 Air will likely be the first iPhone to adopt a new high-density battery technology that fits about 15 to 20% more capacity in the same space. So despite having a battery package that's about 40% smaller than the 16 Plus, the 17 Air's battery capacity will be about 30% smaller. So you can expect about 19 hours of video playback on a full charge, compared to 27 on the 16 Plus, 33 on the 16 Pro Max, and 26 on the 16E. This will be a pretty noticeable drop, so Apple's expected to sell a battery case for the 17 Air to compensate. Its display will be slightly smaller than the 16 Plus, measuring at 6.6 inches instead of 6.7. Apple allegedly tested a 6.9 version of the 17 Air, but feared its larger size would make the device too easy to bend, so they settled for 6.6 instead. It'll also have the same ultra-thin borders as the base iPhone 17, allowing it to be as compact as possible. Its display will feature ProMotion with always-on functionality and a smaller dynamic island. And despite its thinness, the 17 Air is still expected to have MagSafe and a camera control button. Apple will also include their latest A19 chip that's expected to deliver 5 to 10% better power efficiency and 5% better performance compared to the A18 chip. And just like iPhone 17, the 17 Air will have Apple's custom C1 modem. The 17 Air is rumored to come in black, white, light gold, and light blue, a shade similar to sky blue on the latest MacBook Air. Its starting price is expected to be the same as the 16 Plus at $899. Now on to the 17 Pro, which is rumored to have a completely new design, moving away from titanium to aluminum, which hasn't been seen on a flagship model since iPhone 7 in 2016 and could be considered a downgrade since it's a less expensive material. The reason for the switch could be weight savings. Apple moved from stainless steel to titanium primarily for weight reduction, so they're likely looking to do the same thing with iPhone 17 Pro, in addition to saving a few bucks. Its most noticeable design change is the larger horizontal camera bump on the back, likely to provide more internal space for things like a larger battery, although it's expected to have the same lens array as the 16 Pro. Instead of glass, the camera bump will be made from aluminum, like on iPad Pro, making it lighter and more durable. But wireless charging doesn't work through metals like aluminum, so a rectangular glass cutout will likely be added. The Apple logo will be slightly lower than on the 16 Pro, so it's centered within the glass rectangle. But this creates a problem. The logo would be covered by the magnets inside a MagSafe clear case, so Apple will likely modify MagSafe's magnet pattern to avoid obscuring their logo. The 17 Pro may also have reverse wireless charging at 7.5 watts to power accessories like AirPods or Apple Watch. The display will remain 6.3 inches and feature a smaller dynamic island with an upgraded 24-megapixel front camera. Internally, Apple will use the same battery adhesive as the 16 and 16 Plus, which makes removal and replacement much easier, while receiving an upgraded 12 GB of RAM. A new A19 Pro chip is expected to feature TSMC's N3P process, which could deliver 5% faster performance and 5 to 10% better power efficiency. And thermal performance could see an improvement thanks to a new vapor chamber cooling system that'll dissipate heat more efficiently while potentially weighing less than the heat sinks currently used. Now, these 17 Pro models are rumored to come in white, black, gold, and blue, while starting at the same $999 price as 16 Pro. Finally, let's cover the 17 Pro Max, which would feature everything from the 17 Pro plus a few extras, like a larger 6.9-inch display, which will have the same ultra-thin borders as the 16 Pro Max. But instead of using the same camera system, the 17 Pro Max will have a 48-megapixel telephoto lens, a big improvement over the previous 12 megapixels, making it the first iPhone to feature three 48-megapixel rear lenses. It could also be the first to have a mechanical aperture, allowing users to adjust the amount of light hitting the lens, resulting in an improved depth of field performance where the background is blurred and the subject remains sharp. This effect is already achieved with portrait mode, but it's artificially generated with software. A mechanical aperture could also improve low light photos, and even photos shot with too much light, resulting in overexposure or washed out colors. And since the 17 Pro Max will likely be 5% thicker than before, Apple can fit an even larger battery, potentially reaching 5,000 mAh and delivering 40 hours of video playback. If that's the case, it'll be the best battery life ever on an iPhone. The 17 Pro Max will likely come in white, black, gold, and blue, with the same starting price as 16 Pro Max at $1,099. So those are all the latest rumored changes likely coming to the iPhone 17 lineup, although we won't know for sure until their introduction in September. This is Greg with Apple Explained. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next video.